In this episode, we're going to read a chapter from the great book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. I know I've read it a few chapters already from this book, but I really like this one. Power of the Subconscious Mind, How Your Subconscious Removes Mental Blocks by Joseph Murphy, obviously. Before I start, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and commenting on my videos. I really appreciate it. It does help my channel grow, and I love the support. If you have any comments, especially when it comes to my content, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below. Not only does it help my channel grow, but it also helps me understand what I can do for you guys. So thank you so much. How your subconscious removes mental blocks. The solution lies within the problem. The answer is in every question. If you're presented with a difficult situation and you cannot see your way clear, the best procedure is to assume that infinite intelligence within your subconscious mind knows all and sees all, has the answer, and is revealing to you now. Your new mental attitude that the creative intelligence is bringing about a happy solution will enable you to find the answer. Rest assured that such an attitude of mind will bring order, peace, and meaning to all your undertakings. How to break or build a habit. You are a creature of habit. Habit is a function of your subconscious mind. You learn to swim, ride a bicycle, dance, and drive a car by consciously doing these things over and over until they establish tracks in your subconscious mind. Then, the automatic habit of action, your subconscious mind, took over. This is sometimes called second nature, which is a reaction of your subconscious mind to your thinking and acting. You are free to choose a good habit or a bad habit. If you repeat a negative thought or act over a period of time, you will be under the compulsion of a habit. The law of your subconscious is compulsion. How he broke a bad habit. Mr. Jones said to me, "An uncontrollable urge to drink seizes upon me and I remain drunk for 2 weeks at a time. I can't give up this terrible habit." Time and time again, these experiences had occurred to this unfortunate man. He had grown into the habit of drinking to excess. Although he had started to drinking of his own initiative, he also began to realize that he could change the habit and establish a new one. He said that while through his willpower he was able to suppress his desires temporarily, his continued efforts to suppress the many urges only made matters worse. His repeated failures convinced him that he was hopeless and powerless to control his urge or obsession. This idea of being powerless operated as a powerful suggestion to his subconscious mind and aggravated his weakness, making his life a succession of failures. I taught him to harmonize the functions of the conscious and subconscious mind. When these two cooperate, the idea of desire implemented in the submind is realized. His reasoning mind agreed that if the whole habit path or track had carried him into trouble, he could consciously form a new path to freedom, sobriety, and peace of mind. He knew that his destructive habit was automatic, but since it was acquired through his conscious choice, he realized that he had been conditioned negatively, he could also be conditioned positively. As a result, he ceased thinking of the fact that he was powerless to overcome the habit. Moreover, he understood clearly that there was no obstacle to this healing other than his own thought. Therefore, there was no occasion for great mental effort or mental coercion. The power of his mental picture. This man acquired a practice of relaxing his body and getting into a relaxed, drowsy, meditative state. Then, he filled his mind with the picture of the desired end. Knowing his subconscious mind could bring it about the easiest way, he imagined his daughter congratulating him on his freedom and saying to him, "Daddy, it's wonderful to have you home." He had lost his family through drink. He was not allowed to visit them, and his wife would not speak to him. Regularly, systematically, he used to sit down and meditate in the way outlined. When his attention wandered, he made it a habit to immediately recall the mental picture of his daughter, with a smile, and the scene of his home, enlivened by her cheerful voice. All this brought about a reconditioning of his mind. It was a gradual process. He kept it up. He persevered, knowing that sooner or later he would establish a new habit pattern in his subconscious mind. I told him that he could liken his conscious mind to a camera, that his subconscious mind was the sensitive plate on which he registered and impressed the picture. This made a profound impression on him, and his whole aim was to firmly impress the picture on his mind and develop it there. Films are developed in the dark. Likewise, mental pictures are developed in the dark room of the subconscious mind. Focused attention. Realizing that his conscious mind was simply a camera, he used no effort. There was no mental struggle. He quietly adjusts his thoughts and focuses his attention on the scene before him until he gradually became identified with the picture. He became absorbed in the mental atmosphere, repeating the mental movie frequently. There was no room for doubt that a feeling and healing would follow. When there is any temptation to drink, he would switch his imagination from any reveries of drinking bouts to the feeling of being at home with his family. He was successful because he confidently expected to experience the picture he was developing in his mind. Today, he's a president of a multi-million-dollar concern and he is radiantly happy. He said a jinx was following him. Mr. Block said he had been making an annual income of $20,000. But for the past 3 months, all doors seemed to jam tightly. He brought clients up to the point where they were about to sign on the dotted line, and then at the 11th hour, the door closed. He added that perhaps a jinx was following him. In discussing the matter with Mr. Block, I discovered that 3 months previously he had become very irritated, annoyed, and resentful toward a dentist who, after he had promised to sign a contract, had withdrawn at the last moment. He began to live in the unconscious fear that other clients would do the same, thereby setting up a history of frustration, hostility, and obstacles. He gradually built up in his mind a belief in obstruction and last-minute cancellation, until a vicious circle had been established. What a fear most has come upon me. Mr. Block realized that the trouble was in his own mind and that it was essential to change his mental attitude. His run of so-called misfortune was broken in the following way. I realize I am one with the infinite intelligence of my subconscious mind, which knows no obstacle, difficulty, or delay. I live in the joyous expectancy of the best. My deeper mind responds to my thoughts. I know that the work of the infinite power of my subconscious cannot be hindered. Infinite intelligence always finishes successfully whatever it begins. Creative wisdom works through me, bringing all my plans and purposes to completion. Whatever I start, I bring to a successful conclusion. My aim in life is to give wonderful service, and all those whom I contact are blessed by what I offer. All my work comes to full fruition in divine order. He repeated this prayer every morning before going to call on his customers. He also prayed each night prior to sleep. In a short time, he had established a new habit pattern in his subconscious mind, and he was back in his old accustomed stride as a successful salesman. How much do you want what you want? A young man asked Socrates how he could get wisdom. Socrates replied, "Come with me." He took the lad to a river, pushed the boy's head under the water, held it there until the boy was gasping for it, then relaxed and released his head. When the boy regained his composure, he asked him, "What did you desire most when you were underwater?" "I wanted air," said the boy. Socrates said to him, "When you want wisdom as much as you wanted air, when you were immersed in the water, you will receive it. Likewise, when you really have an intense desire to overcome any block in your life and you come to a clear-cut decision that there is a way out, and that is the course you wish to follow, then victory and triumph are assured. If you really want peace of mind and inner calm, you will get it, regardless of how unjustly you have been treated or how unfair the boss has been or what a mean scoundrel someone has proved to be. All this makes no difference to you when you awaken to your mental and spiritual powers. You know what you want, and you will definitely refuse to let the thieves of hatred, anger, hostility, and ill will rob you of peace, harmony, health, and happiness. You cease to become upset by people, conditions, news, and events by identifying your thoughts immediately with your aim in life. Your aim is peace, health, inspiration, harmony, and abundance. Feel a river of peace flowing through you now. Your thought is the immaterial and invisible power, and you choose to let it bless inspire, and give you peace. Why he could not be healed. There is a case history of a married man with 4 children who was supporting and secretly living with another woman during his business trips. He was ill, nervous, irritable, and cantankerous, and he could not sleep without drugs. The doctor's medicine failed to bring down his high blood pressure of over 200. He had pains in numerous organs of his body, which doctors could not diagnose or relieve. To make matters worse, he was drinking heavily. The cause of all this was a deep, unconscious sense of guilt. He had violated the marriage vows, and this troubled him. The religious creed he was brought up on was deeply lodged in his subconscious mind, and he drank excessively to heal the wound of guilt. Some invalids take morphine and codeine for severe pains. He was taking alcohol for the pain or wound in his mind. It was the old story of adding fuel to the fire. The explanation and the cure. He listened to the explanation of how his mind worked. He faced his problems, looked at it, and gave up his dual role. He knew that his drinking was an unconscious attempt to escape. The hidden cause lodged in his subconscious mind had to be eradicated, and the healing would follow. He began to impress his subconscious mind 3 or 4 times a day by using the following prayer. My mind is full of peace, poise, balance, and equilibrium. The infinite lies stretched in smiling repose within me. I am not afraid of anything in the past, the present, or the future. The infinite intelligence of my subconscious mind leads, guides, and directs me in all ways. I now meet every situation with faith, poise, calmness, and confidence. I am now completely free from the habit. My mind is full of inner peace, freedom, and joy. I forgive myself, then I am forgiven. Peace, sobriety, and confidence reign supreme in my mind. He repeated this prayer frequently as outlined, being fully aware of what he was doing and why he was doing it. Knowing what he was doing gave him the necessary faith and confidence. I explained to him that as he spoke these statements out loud, slowly, lovingly, and meaningfully, they would gradually sink down into his subconscious mind. Like seeds, they would grow after their kind. These truths on which he concentrated went in through his eyes. His ears heard the sound, and the healing vibration of these words reached the subconscious mind and obliterated all the negative mental patterns which caused all trouble. Light dispels darkness. The constructive thought destroyed the negative thought. He became a transformed man within a month. Refusing to admit it. If you're an alcoholic or a drug addict, admit it. Do not dodge the issue. Many people remain alcoholics because they refuse to admit it. Your disease is instability and inner fear. You are refusing to face life, and so you try to escape your responsibilities through the bottle. As an alcoholic, you have no free will, although you think you have, and you may even boast about your willpower. If you are an habitual drunkard and say bravely, I will not touch it anymore, you have no power to make this assertion come true because you do not know where to locate the power. You are living in a psychological prison of your own making, and you are bound by your beliefs, opinions, training, and environmental influences. Like most people, you are a creature of habit. You are conditioned to react the way you do. Building in the idea of freedom. You can build the idea of freedom and peace of mind into your mentality so that it reaches your subconscious depths. The latter, being all-powerful, will free you from all desire for alcohol. Then you will have the new understanding of how your mind works, and you can truly back up your statement and prove the truth to yourself. 51% healed. 51% healed. You have a keen desire to free yourself from any destructive habit, you are 51% healed already. When you have a greater desire to give up the bad habit than to continue it, you will not experience too much difficulty in gaining complete freedom. Whatever thought you anchor the mind upon, the latter magnifies. If you engage on the concept of freedom and peace of mind, and if you keep it focused on this new direction of attention, you generate feelings and emotions which gradually emotionalize the concept of freedom and peace. Whatever idea you emotionalize is accepted by your subconscious and brought to pass. The law of substitution. Realize that something good can come out of suffering. You have not suffered in vain. However, it is foolish to continue to suffer. If you continue as an alcoholic, it will bring about mental and physical deterioration and decay. Realize that the power in your subconscious is backing you up. Even though you may be seized with melancholia, you should begin to imagine the joy of freedom that is in store for you. This is the law of substitution. Your imagination took you to the bottom. Let it take you now to the freedom and peace of mind. You will suffer a little bit, but it is for a constructive purpose. You will bear it like a mother in the pangs of childbirth. And you will, likewise, bring forth a child of the mind. Your subconscious will give birth to sobriety. 3 magic steps. The first step: get still, quiet the wheels of the mind, enter into a sleepy, drowsy state. In this relaxed, peaceful, receptive state, you are preparing for the second step. Second tip: take a brief phrase which can readily be graven on the memory and repeat it over and over as a lullaby. Use the phrase, sobriety and peace of mind are mine now, and I give thanks. To prevent the mind from wandering, repeat it aloud or sketch it pronunciation with the lips and tongue as you say it mentally. This helps its entry into the subconscious mind. Do this for 5 minutes or more. You'll find a deep emotional response. The third step: just before going to sleep, practice what Johann von Goethe, German author, used to do. Imagine a friend or loved one in front of you. Your eyes are closed, you are relaxed and at peace. The loved one or friend is subjectively present and is saying to you, "Congratulations." You see the smile, you hear the voice, you mentally touch the hand. It's all real and vivid. The word congratulations implies complete freedom. Hear it over and over again until you get to the subconscious reaction which satisfies. Keep on keeping on. When fear knocks at the door of your mind, or when worry, anxiety, and doubt cross your mind, behold your vision, your goal. Think of the infinite power with you on your subconscious mind, which you can generate by your thinking and imagining. And this will give you confidence, power, and courage. Keep on, persevere until the day breaks and the shadow flees away. Well, that was a longer chapter than the previous video I did, but amazing nonetheless. And I think I have little to say about this, and I mean that's what I said, but I think I'm going to say some. It's very important to understand, and the more I get into this, the more I read this stuff, the more I practice it in my life, and the more I manifest, the more I realize that everything stems from the inside out. The Buddha used to say that the mind is the forerunner of all things. And this statement is but becoming more and more true in my life. And I think if you are to focus on manifestation, and when I say manifestation, it manifestation of your ideal self, your ideal life, both, you'll realize that everything is within. Everything stems from what we think. Man is what he thinks all day long. Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's crazy. Or Henry David Thoreau, I forgot. Please correct me if you know. But it's really, really true. It's like we think and our thoughts lead us to behaviors. And the thing that people don't understand and fail to understand sometimes is that manifestation is not necessarily something that it has to do with exoteric, sophisticated, spiritual, metaphysical, ooey-gooey things that you will never be able to fathom, or you don't even want to try because you think it's simply stupid, idiotic, or far-fetched. But there's the behaviors we have in life and the manifestation that comes along with this behavior all started with a thought. So all those negative stuff that happen in your life and is all started with a thought. So when Joseph Murphy talks about this salesman who just because of one client who canceled at the last minute, his thought led to another one, and he just indulged into the thought until there was no belief. When this potential client canceled at the last minute, this salesman didn't have this belief that every client will cancel at the last minute. However, because he entertained this thought led to another and another and another until it sunk in his subconscious mind and became an assumption, as Lev Goddard would say, a belief, if you will. whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to label it, that's not important. It was something that was part of his identity. And now all his clients will cancel at the last minute. That's what his belief was. So he changed his belief. Joseph Murphy gave him this bunch of prayers, and he used him constantly until he became the former self, the self that was confident that he could close the sale. So that is very important to know, that we have so much control over our subconscious mind, and we cannot. That's my second point. My first point is that manifestation is what starts with a thought, if you will, as I explained just now. My second point is that we need not force or use our willpower to coerce or manipulate. I mean, manipulate in a way, yes, but to manipulate with force, willpower, and coercion our subconscious mind. Because when we do this, as he gave an example with the alcoholic man, you can use your willpower for a time, but you will burn out, and you will fail after a short time, but you will also reinforce your identity as an alcoholic because you have failed. However, if you were to do it the Joseph Murphy way, and as Jordan Peterson said, you have to negotiate with yourself, and that's the best way to do it, is you need to wait for the right time and do the right things at the right time to impregnate your subconscious mind with this new seed of this person you are becoming, you want to become, you want to manifest. That's my second point. You cannot coerce the subconscious mind. You have to use your conscious mind, your objective mind, very, very, very organically and naturally, in a way that doesn't imply any resistance and disbelief, for you to manipulate, quote unquote, the subconscious mind to be impressed by a new seed. And my third point is you need to be persistent. That's very important. That's incredibly important. And I think we really need to talk about, because when I read things about persistence, it's like, oh, persistence and law of attraction persistence and the law of attraction don't really go hand in hand, but they do. Because we read all those. If you go on YouTube and read articles, blah blah blah, success story, you all read these stories of like, oh, he did this for 1 week, and after 1 week he got this, and he manifested the winning prize of the lottery, etc. And yes, those stories are true. I'm not saying they're false, and I'm not saying people are lying. However, it's not for everybody, and everybody has their own unique experience. And I was listening to this very good YouTuber yesterday, Joseph Halley, and he talked about, we don't know, everything is possible, but we don't know the time that it will take for a seed to come about. We can impress our subconscious mind with our seed, but this seed has its own appointed time. So we don't know this part. So we have to let go of this part and be persistent, not with willpower, but with kindness, and we be persisting in assuming that we already have what we have. And the way Joseph Murphy does that is when you, for an example, when it comes to the alcoholic man, when he felt the desire to drink, instead of letting this desire, his overwhelming desire, take over, he would, in his mind, live in the end, as Neville Goddard would say. He would live in the end, and he would see himself as the person he wants to be in the future, but right now, as if he was that person already right now. And he would also do these prayers morning and night, in the state akin to sleep, after meditation, if you will, or before you sleep, and or both. And he will impregnate his mind with this new identity. But guys, you have to understand that, for example, the salesman did not get to this belief of he could not close and people will cancel at the last minute overnight. It's a continual progress of him affirming with his mind this negative belief, and he became, over time, this person who could not close a sale, and he became the salesman whose potential clients would cancel at the last minute. It takes time. So no matter what you want in life, whether it's a specific person, a mental block you want to change, we all have things in our lives that we would like to change about ourselves. And it's important, as Joseph Murphy said, that to look within and to not blame others, because blaming others is just reacting to the situation we like, and we keep on perpetuating this negativity. So instead, we let go, we go within, and we change ourselves from within without pointing fingers at anybody else, even including ourselves. We don't point fingers, we go within, we see what negativity we have, and we replace it with prayers, with affirmation that are the positive counterpart to the negative part we don't want anymore. And we do this over a period of time, and will inevitably become this person we want to become. That's what Earl Nightingale said. Success is the progressive realization of an ideal self. He didn't say it's a realization of an ideal self as in a one-time thing, as in an epiphany. He said the progressive. So take your time, be patient with yourself, not with your manifestation. The manifestation will come when it's time to come. Be patient with yourself, because you will have ups and downs while you change it. The important is to persevere. It's not the journey to becoming the person you want to be. The journey to manifest your ideal self and your ideal life takes time. Not because of the manifestation. Manifestation comes instantaneously, but to become this person that is deserving of those instantaneous manifestation, it might take time depending on where you are now and how much disbelief or negativity you hold inside. So this will take time, but not as much as you might think. It will take some effort, and as Joseph Murphy said, you might suffer a bit, but it's worthwhile in long term. It's short term versus long term. It's short term result versus long term result. If you want the short term result, just drink, eat whatever you want, and you will be fat and an alcoholic forever, right? That's short-term gratification versus long-term fulfillment. If you want to have long-term fulfillment, just suffer a bit right now to the ups and downs of cleaning your mind of all this bullshit, and you will get to be the person you want to be, and everything will appear to be effortless and easy. Anyway, as I said, I created a Facebook group. Private Facebook group, you can check in the description box below. Contact me for coaching, and check my books on Amazon, whatever the case may be, or just comment or whatever you want to do. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next time.